Hello, hello. Sorry, this is the first time we've done it as a screen capture. I'm just trying to figure everything out here. But we'll wait for a couple of people to chime in here. So, the topic tonight is pretend you have $5,000 that you have to spend. We're not saying you have $5,000, I'd rather save it. I'm saying something you would never normally buy yourself that you really, really want. That you wouldn't normally, get for yourself. Because I'm not saying for 100% sure, but just maybe your dreams could come true. But I might need some ideas. So, what I want you to do is if you have something cool that you're selling that's $5,000 or less, put it on Reverb. Don't send me a link in the chat. Give me the title. I'll look it up myself because I don't want to click suspicious links on a live stream. And otherwise, I would love to hear some models, maybe not even Gibson. It could be anything, music related that you would be excited to receive. Rekwan, he's asking, is the Mystic Maiden still available? It is, but it exceeds the $5,000 budget. JF, maybe. Just maybe. I guess you guys will have to let me know about the audio, too. I'm not 100% sure if it's good or not. I checked to make sure that the visuals, they're working. I'm on Reverb. You guys can see that. So, Eddie, you don't get $5,000. It's something that costs up to $5,000. That's just as a discussion point. So think long and hard, because $5,000 in the collectible guitar world and in Gibson land, you can almost get everything that's basic, but like when it comes to super collector's editions and like rare woods, some exotic custom colors, you can't quite get there. $6,500 is that mark for that, but $5,000 can get you a lot. I mean, there's lots of cool Fender stuff as well. And what I'm going to do is once some suggestions come flowing in through here, we'll look them up, look at them on Reverb together. We can chat a little bit. I'm not sure how long this live stream will go. Maybe an hour. Depends how much fun we're having. And Raph is saying he'd buy 10 Harley Bentons. We're talking treat yourself. We're not saying get the most for your money. We're talking treat yourself. Come up with something that's at least, $2,000-$3,000. We're not looking for low-end multiple stuff. Alt Grendel's saying parts casters. Yeah, anything. I'm just interested to hear what you guys would be excited for. But when it comes to parts casters, we're not saying piece it together yourself. It's more so something that's existing already on the Reverb platform that we could look at maybe. Thank you, Aaron, for saying the audio sounds good. It should sound different from other live streams, is what I was trying to say there, because I'm using the mic that I use for my internet videos, so it should be even better than the lapel. And like JC's comment here that says Hummingbird and SG, something like that. That's something else that would be interesting. But I'm going to start things off here. Let's kind of go in order and jump through. So he was saying Mystic Maiden. That's this guy over here. I've got it listed for 13. I can't do I mean, I can make a deal on it, but I can't, like, go crazy low because this thing's cool. I like it. That's looking a little squished on your guys' side. Hopefully that's not too jarring. So this was a 57 Les Paul special that somebody put some interesting, I don't know, do you consider it inlays? Because, I mean, it goes down a little bit. There's a slight relief to it, but then it stands proud. That's a great episode if you happen to have missed it. But this one exceeds the budget, because that's also possible, a possibility, something I'm selling. I'm being a little bit cryptic as far as what might be going on, because I'm not allowed to exactly talk about it. That was the maiden. Let's see. Oh, that's funny. Willie says he won a $5,000 Super Bowl pool jackpot, and he bought a 57 custom shop. So what he's talking about is a 57 Les Paul custom, I would believe. Not the legitimate one, but something like this. I mean, that's a tried and true Les Paul right there. All straight mahogany construction. You get your golden hardware, ABR1 bridge, long neck tenon. I believe it's nylon nut too, and all the other 50 stylings there. But did you go for custom color or just regular black? Because in the early 2000s, you can find like a cherry colored one. And some of those have faded into a natural. Next up, we've got a Kirk Douglas. So these things have come down a little bit in price lately. Because they were, what was it, $2,500 brand new, but they were consistently selling for that $3,000 to $3,500. It seems like you could probably pick up one with some mild blemishes for $28. I mean, as cheap as $27 here. Here's the thing about something like this. That's a lot of guitar for the money. I mean, it looks like a custom shop. But you would still have enough budget to be able to get another guitar or maybe even an amp. I would say that's a decent choice there. Eric said a quad Cortex. I don't know how exciting it is to look at something like this. So 15-ish, depending on what you're going for. A multi-effects processor. See, this stuff just kind of scares me. I mean, it's probably not that bad. It's just the initial setup. Because at one point in time, we had a demoer come over. He had something similar to this. In fact, it might have actually been this. He just used that for his gigging. So Requan, he said 1989, but you'll most likely find 1990 limited colors. Les Paul custom. I'm not sure if there's any white ones. Yeah, right now there's a red one. To be honest, 5,000. It would have to be a little bit beat up. Most of those will list for about 65, but this red one, yeah, that technically fits within our budget. Because that's what I was kind of thinking. Most people would like a Les Paul custom, right? It's just figuring out the exact right one that gets everybody pumped up. And I mean, when I look at this one, I think 5,000, nah. Condition's not good enough. It's way too yellowed. Personally, I view this one more like a 38, and I think that's being generous. Seeing lots of Les Paul plus, amps. I understand that, but let's not do amps. Shipping those things, unless it's a small one. Maybe if it's a small one. But pedals and stuff, definitely open to learning about that. Looks like Buford is saying one of the new 70s Les Paul customs. My thing with that is I'm trying to stretch the budget here. And I would much rather hook someone up with a legitimate 70s Les Paul custom if, we're buying brand new. Now, when it comes to these things on the used market in like 5 years, oh yeah, then they're going to be a great value. But these are great guitars if you want something that's brand new. And at the same time, when it comes to granting someone's wish or something, I guess I want to say I'm trying to find something cleaner, so something like this could work, because I don't want it to have issues and then, oh, here's a great gift, now fix it before it's playable. But those, I had a great time with the 70s Les Paul Custom. I suppose I could add it to a watch list. That's the great thing about Reverb. You come over here, you hit this little heart, and 9 times out of 10 in a couple of hours, if you come up to wherever your profile is, I'm not logged in for this, you'll get a private offer for like 10% off or something. Helps with the sales tax. Right, the high gain department. Patrick Huffschmeid. I don't see it there. Sorry, I tried. I'm not sure if this will be available internationally, but I appreciate you playing along. Nick is saying a 79 Les Paul Custom Silver Burst. You talking like one of these? Adam Jones? Well, let's see. These are coming down just a little bit in price, but usually 5,000 is going to be stretching it. I mean, 75, 8. You'd have to be making some offers. It wouldn't be clean. Let's see. 7980. Which one is it? What does the serial number say? I want to know. This one's nice and yellowed, which is what people are wanting. Frets have a little bit of wear, but there's not a lot of life to those frets to start with. A couple of dings, some on the edge. The thing I hate about this guy's listings is he always has this sign in it, and it makes you think, oh, that's going to be included. It grabs your attention. I feel it's slightly misleading, but it's because of that I bought that new old stock one. What was that, 4 years ago, and now that's part of the unboxing table. Ooh, potential Kalamazoo build there. We've got the black headstock. Can't quite make out that serial number without zooming in. Well, it actually appears to be Nashville. Is that 500? Most times it's Kalamazoo. They do the black, but not always. Not always. I would say that's actually a pretty nice one. Now, do I think he would take $5,000 for it? Probably not. got Chris EL here saying rose gold. So rose gold's really cool. I think we documented the Les Paul traditional as well as this guy right here. The SG, these were Guitar Center exclusives circa 2019, 2020, I think. What's cool about rose gold is they get gold and chrome mix matching. So you get the golden studs with the chrome tailpiece, bridge. Then eventually, we'll get up to the headstock, but you can see chrome nut, golden washer. I believe they were $2,000 brand new, but these have held value quite a bit. Most times I see them listing at premiums, even used, being sold at Guitar Center. They also have that really nice heavy-duty case, the old High Performance. I would view that as a cool guitar. My problem with offering that is not everybody would be as excited to get a pink guitar. I want to keep it slightly the ambiguity, some form of that word. All right, so I see another one that says, uh-oh, I jumped down, lost my spot. So there's 1980 Les Paul Custom from Derby. Is there a particular reason why you wanted 1980? See, we couldn't get silver burst, but you could definitely get a regular common color. I mean, these guys asking 75 plus. They're reaching. We don't got enough budget for the Les Paul. Tobacco. That's always a good one. You could probably haggle him down into range. I thought about a 2550. Those are nice guitars. I mean, I would be excited for the chance to take one of those home. And 5,000, that's about right. You're not going to be able to get the pristine collector's editions, not necessarily. But this one's not too bad. You don't see the naturals too often. That's something to think about. And this one's got some wear to the gold hardware, scratches. It doesn't have to be perfect. Not for this application necessarily. Ooh, one of the first 1,000, 759, first year of production even. Oh, didn't see the asking price on that. I don't think I'd suggest paying that much for one that's not perfect. But like something like this or that, you can totally get a $25.50 for that kind of money. Yeah, Aaron, the Kirk Douglas SG, definitely under 5K. Not sure when you sent that, but I'm just now seeing that. Next person says the LOO Grizzly. I don't think I'll find that on Reverb. That's a Gibson.com exclusive, so can't do that one. All right, Chris says Sir Modern. Is this what you're looking at? It's not my style of guitar, but hey, it's your choice. I guess some of those do get quite expensive. Now that's fun. But so is this. But then again, not everybody might be happy with that finish choice. I feel like the matching headstock was too much. Maybe like a natural rosewood head cap, but then maybe that would look too much like the fretboard. Interesting wood grain on the back. Okay, I guess the headstock looks nice when it's up close. See, when I'm talking non-Gibson, it'd be okay. I'm like, maybe something with a bit of vintage flavor. Sean Murphy, talking about an exquisite acoustic. There's a lot of nice Gibson acoustics. I don't know if anything's going to ever top that Merlot Burst J200. That one breaks the bank a little bit for this project, though. Walnut Rickenbacker. Did I not spell that right? Rick. Oh, maybe it's just because there's no 4001s. I always thought the walnut backers look quite nice when they get the gloss finish anyway. This one breaks our budget, but it looks like it'd be fun to look at. $25,000. You have to wheel it around on a pallet. And neck through construction. Golden hardware. Bass. Looks like 6-string combination. Seems to have been heavily ambered though. So it must have saw some stage use or been in a smoky environment. That's a pretty cool collection of that guy. Looks like somebody said Strandberg Artisan. There we go. Fixed it for me. Well, from what I can see, that breaks our budget, but maybe a used one. Or you know what? Something like this, you might be able to get a deal on if you watch. I mean, that's been listed for a year. They're ready to move that. One of them headless things. So still bolt-on construction. Kind of an interesting, I wonder what wood they used, or is it like an epoxy side? Yeah, we got 5 bolts on that one. I guess from my perspective, I've only ever played like $1,000 headless guitars, so I guess you could say ignorance here. I don't really know how much better can those guitars get when you move up to custom shop. Because like when it comes to Les Pauls, I can answer that question. Law of diminishing returns, types of finishes used. But this just looks like a thinner satin finish with maybe some prettiness. Let's see. Looks like they can make 120 of those a year, so maybe it's bragging rights on this particular one. I was trying to see, what is the top? Okay, it's chambered. Interesting. So Koa, and okay, yeah, it was a rosin top. I thought that's what it looked like. Let's see, Sam is talking about a Heritage Eagle. Classic. Oh, okay, so we're going jazz boxy. $5,000 brand new. do I like out of these offerings? I mean, some of these are looking pretty plain, but this guy right here reminds me of some of the Gibson Citations, especially with the super cool figured pick guard there. And we got all the F-holes. And that looks like it's going to have a pretty nicely figured back, too. It's not a floating one. And ooh. Yeah, I like that. That's a good choice. Got the stinger there. 5-piece maple neck with the figuring. Some figuring there on the back as well. I just wish the inlays were maybe something else. I mean, the dots are kind of boring. Like, even if they were just thumbnails, I think that'd be a little bit more exciting. Yeah, if anybody wants to new Guitar Day one of those, or use my forwarding service to do the used one, I'd review that guitar quite happily. That's cool. Yeah, so Sebastian's asking about the E2 Explorers. Here's the thing with those. Even I was looking that up. Because what's happened is one guy had a high price and then everybody followed, and they just don't sell. It was not that long ago, the regular E2s, we're not talking the CMTs, we're talking the regular ones. They were like 20, well, they were anywhere from 18 to about $3,000. But now everybody's asking like 5, 6 plus. They don't sell. They just sit. And they just make it seem bad. Like, I've seen these same ones on the market for such a long time. I mean, if I was going to, put this one into the realm of possibilities, I would not pay more than $3,000. The problem is all the ones that are nicely priced, they sell quick. Now, obviously, the CMTs, they sell for a little bit more because of the curly mapleness. Like, for example, this is my listing. It's one of the Cherry Sunburst ones. Do I think $5,000 is the exact right price for that? No. I mean, I've got some wiggle room built into there. I mean, this one, I forget why I purchased it. I think it was to document the Cherry Sunburst nature of this finish because we hadn't done that one before. But, for example, this could definitely be thrown in if this would excite you to have the possibility to be the next owner of. My problem was I was trying to, do something that we haven't done a video about at the same time. Joseph coming in low with the Midtown Custom. So those are, it looks like a 335, but it's not. It's a Les Paul in the shape of a 335, essentially, that's been chambered out. Those come a little bit low. But, because that was my other thought with this process is have like 3 or 4 guitars. That could be fun. Because I was thinking, what if we get one SG, one Les Paul, like a 335, see how far we could really stretch that budget. As the ultimate winner, you get all the things that you need. But I feel like you need to throw a Strat and a Telly in with there too. But those have a lot of affordable things. Raf is asking about a Les Paul Custom with soap bars. Meaning he wants P90 pickups. Oh. That's not a bad idea. So what is this, Bizarre Guitar? Yeah, I thought so. They're usually pretty good with their prices. So this one just has 2 P90 pickups. I was expecting like the staple pickup. That would be a great one. That's a dream guitar for a lot of people, but most, when it actually comes time to buy it, they just go for like a used custom. So that's a decent idea. A 54 reissue. It breaks the bank, but if you shop right, you can get close. Another one this makes me think of is the Queen of Clean. I wonder if they have any of those. I know the Music Zoo was doing something. Now let's come up here. 3P90 Les Paul. Yeah, there's this. I thought about this guitar. It's a junior special from 2012. It had 3 mini humbuckers put into it. We could swap those out for P90s. I think I had watched the listing. He came back with an auto offer of like $150 off. If anybody's interested in this, go ahead and go for it. It's the satin back and sides. Seems to have been semi-what glossed up though. It's pretty cool for the money. But there was a time that these junior specials were like $600. Ooh, Nicholas says Yahoo! I don't know if any of those are available. Nope. Why does it say Yagio? I didn't type Yagio. Alright, we can confirm again. No Yahoos. Which, look up the Yahoo Explorer review if you're confused. There was a really crappy flat top Les Paul special thing, but I don't think I'd want to put that into the running. I'm glad you enjoy the show, Raph. Lately, the views have been way down, but it seems to be every channel is experiencing something similar to that. It's a little demotivating because it used to be every episode, the minimum would be like 30,000, but it's dropped down to like 20K on certain episodes. And I get it. Not everybody likes the internet ones, so I try to produce as many reviews as humanly possible. But even when those stop performing, it's really demotivating, so I'm glad you're still enjoying. Sean is saying SJ200. I don't know if he has a particular year in mind. Some of those studios are... Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that. You know, do like an acoustic and an electric to make sure that they're all good. But I'd want a fancy boy acoustic. I don't know if I'd go J200 for someone's first acoustic, though. Let's look at this together real quick. Bob Dylan SJ200 Collector's Edition. So when I made the Bob Dylan Player's Edition episode, I don't think I was aware of the Collector's Edition. Because a lot of the comments in that video were like, oh man, if only they could have did this, that, and these other cool things, it would be awesome. And it just ended up being on the true Collector's Edition version. So this one's got the double pick guard, abalone. It's $25,000. Maybe Dr. Greg would want it. But that one's got the mother of pearl up top. Yeah, Greg was saying he might do the mandolin. So maybe we will see one of those $20,000 mandolins. Oh, that's not what I want to show you. I'm trying to make it so I can see the current comments at the same time as my backlog comments. That way I can slightly interact with you guys at the same time. Right. So I was trying to type in, somebody said vintage Kramer Stage Master Flip Flop. Like this? Flip Flop Red. Looks pink to me. Or maybe it's like a pink into red. Something like that. Diagonal humbucker. I don't really have much commentary for that, but thanks for sending it in. So King Brutus is in the chat. Let's see, what did he ask for? Andy Wood. Sir. Well, let's just do that. He wanted the T style, but maybe that'll get us good enough. Okay, so Andy Wood's signature, which comes out to be, wow, that's weird. So we got like race car orange and red. Got like a black, silver. That looks exactly like the Brent Mason, I believe it is. That's fun. That's kind of cool too. Oh, those are the regular Telly pickups. Yeah, let's come up to this one. So what's weird is you don't have the regular Telly bridge there, and it's like a Stratocaster style system on top of all those other things we were just talking about. Oh, wow, that's weird on the back. I suppose there's other tremolo unit Tellys. It's not that strange. They got the extra cutaway there. The other rule is the guitar has to be offered for sale within the United States. So this one looks like it's in Japan. Yeah, maybe not Japan. No, it's Japan. I thought that's what that store was. Custom Shop SG. Styrene was talking about that. Well, yeah. I mean, something like that would be cool. There was a really cool white one that was super aged, but it had a decal over it that made it not age evenly, and somebody removed it. I thought that would be a great candidate for this project. I think if I was going to do that, I'd go for the Elliot Easton SG, because it's very similar. I mean, you've got the Tiki Bird. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but they have SG versions. That's what I would probably try to buy with 5,000. Hedge your bet a little bit more for future value, potentially. The Catcher. Talking about dead spec PRS. Okay. I don't remember how much those were brand new. Because the last time, that was about a year ago, I was even looking into these things. They were selling for huge premiums. It looks like, yeah, 4,000. I'll write that down. I mean, maybe not this particular run, but I'm a big fan of the Silver Sky. I love the pickups in it, and all the other changes are good. I wish I would have kept my Nebula as like a collector's thing. They've definitely came down in price quite significantly. I'm waiting for him to come down a little bit more. Like, this one's not too bad. But when it came to Lunar Ice, not as many people cared. I think these were, what, 4,000 brand new? And this isn't too bad. Wow. It's local pickup only, though, New Jersey. I feel like a lot of people would get excited at the opportunity to be able to take one of these home. A Nebula. Does that excite anybody in the chat? Feel free to leave some comments. Dre 1974 says a 63 Gibson SG standard. We gotta get an N in there. Now we got too many. I know Parker likes to cut me some deals, but I don't know if he's gonna go down that far. Pelham Blue Vintage SGs. I saw somebody talking in the comments yesterday. They were surprised that I like them. When it comes to a vintage SG, that's definitely my favorite custom color because it's just gorgeous. But they're expensive once you get vintage Pelham Blues that don't have repairs and whatnot. Yeah, I bet a lot of people would be excited for that. But anyways, what I was going for is, even with a broken neck, well, as I was saying, even with a broken neck, once you take out the electronics, maybe, just maybe, you could get one for $5,000. But man, no photos of the heel area. This listing needs a little bit of work, in my opinion. But you can tell there's definitely some stuff going on there. New plate. And I just, as something that somebody would receive, and then maybe the neck angle wasn't right. I mean, I don't know about that. Hiram. Let's see. Castadosa, something like that. Woo! Some sort of a boutique thing. It looks like they break the $5,000 barrier. Is this one the ex-Fender guy? Yeah. Okay, yep, that makes sense. That's pretty cool, the baritone electric purple. Although with our budget, you'd have to do some pretty serious haggling, I would think. I think I'll pass on that. But thanks for sending it in. Now we got, what did he say? Morsh is asking for a Pawn Shop 72 Fender. Well, it's certainly within range. And definitely a model that I could make an episode on. It's not very attractive, but I feel like it's one of those ones where when you play it, you might like it. Because it's basically a hardtail Stratocaster just with a funny pick guard, and it's got an F-hole. I don't want to say chambered, semi-hollow, because I don't know. It's probably just a small area routed out in the body. But if it has that, that means it's likely a flat top. Or a flat back. Nah, it's got to be the flat top in order for them to do that. Would be my educated guess from what I've seen in the past. Lots of 70s specs on that one. Darian. The old Johnny A. My problem with offering that as a woohoo bonus for someone is I don't know if everyone would be excited to get that. Like the mahogany one, yes. Some of the fancier ones, you might be able to haggle into range. So this would be interesting. Is it actually labeled a prototype? Okay, so that looks like it has that carved back thing. So this might be similar to the modern arch top that I actually enjoyed quite a bit. I just always thought those were flatbacks, but I've never seen that photo before. So thank you, seller. Or maybe that's special to this particular one. But darn. I'll have to come back later and look closer. But it looks like it says prototype up there. I'll write it on my list. Because the other thing is, if it's a general prize, I also want it to be easy to sell in case whoever gets it is like, not for me, but I'd like to turn this into, you know, a sir, blah, blah, blah. IBJI saying, what about going through the Fender Build Your Own? That would be cool, but for the purpose of our chat tonight, we want to stay on the reverb.com website for unspecified reasons. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. On a completely unrelated note, hey, did you know you can watch and win on Reverb a Klon this month? I wonder what could be a potential prize for another month. Isn't it fun to think and wonder together? El Scorcho's saying, hey, get better amps and pedals. I hear ya. I think ultimately what would be best would, well, that could be interesting. Give away my my current setup, which is a Marshall Blues Breaker. It's one of the reissues. These things, there must have been a price cut recently because I remember when I got mine, it was like $6,000 or something heavy. But a lot of these can be had for a lot less. But this is what I use for my pedal. And I just use it because the Andertons guys did a drive pedal shootout against like 100 different pedals, and this is what they chose. So I was like, okay, good enough for me. But there is a there's a way to do like your DI signal or whatever it is, and then you can reamp it through a whole bunch of other stuff. I think Agufish is really good at doing stuff like that. That would probably be ideal. It's just I'd like to do more tried and true simple tone samples. Like the playing part is not why you come to my show. At least I hope it's not. It's for the detailed specs. I'm just trying to do simple tone samples. That's what I'm happy enough with. Doom is saying Gibson baritone Les Paul. That's going to be hard to find. I mean, I did look at this today already. There's the baritone epi. Then there's the baritone SG, which I thought could potentially be a decent option. But right now, I don't see any of the Les Pauls. I thought it could be a lot of fun to throw a bucket head into the mix. I actually did offer that guy the full $5,000, and he didn't take it, surprisingly enough. People are getting proud of the studios. And the only reason why mine's $15,000 is because I don't really want to sell it. I listed that when I needed to drum up some money, but thankfully I'm not in desperate need anymore. So I took the offer function off of that. If somebody wants to pay me $15,000, sure, I'll find another one. But I would not consider that going market rate at this time. Kali, Shav. I don't really want the reverb link. I would prefer you to say, something like, hey, here is my listing, and copy and paste your title so I can type it in. That way, I'm not showing other things on my screen and all that. Other things somebody might, malicious links, etc. Ooh, Tommy in there with a great idea. Are there any for sale right now? Man, I thought $5,000 could get you a set, but it must be $10,000 now. Or these people are just asking too much. That would be an awesome thing. Because then you could... I really like that idea. I just don't know if it's feasible anymore. Guess if anybody has a set of legit PAFs for $5,000, you let me know. So Scott is saying Les Paul Supreme. One of the new ones specifically. I was actually looking at some of the older ones. This one right here, I'm very tempted by. The problem is it doesn't have the original case. Which, I mean, if you're being given this guitar, are you really going to be that sad? But at the same time, this might be too much guitar for someone, but it should be easy enough for them to sell if they didn't like it. Because that is a Supreme that I still want to review. You know, it would knock out two birds with a stone. And then I won't have to worry about reselling it. But at the same time, I kind of want one of these for my collection. I don't want to fall in love with it and be like, oh, okay, now we got to give it away. So back to Buford here. He was wondering if they stack up to the old customs. They're different. I do have a review in case you're just tuning in. He's talking about the 70s Les Paul custom, the new one. He was saying earlier how he had a 1972 once. So the neck profile, it's not exact, but it's pretty close. Like, it would be similar to what you had, and it doesn't have the exact same construction. Again, see the full review and documentation, and we go over all of that. But they're great guitars. They sound phenomenal. I don't know what they did with those pickups, but both of those were great. I mean, they're definitely very different beasts, because these are more of a combination of early 70s and late 70s specs. I still suggest checking it out. If you're in the market for a newer guitar, they're a lot of fun. But if you're open to buying used and all that, that's when lots of things change. So Zach says his prized possession is an 86 white Les Paul Custom. That is a bucket list item for so many people. It doesn't necessarily have to be 86, but I've definitely considered something like that, a white Les Paul. You can definitely get it. I would probably want to go as old as possible. Like, ideally a 74, but that's going to break the budget. I mean, let's see. Well, you could get lucky with an offer. Oh, here's an 87. Got Parker over here again. I don't think he would be able to get that one down. And it's a little more beat up than I would want it to anyways. I've been sitting on this for a couple of weeks now. It's breaking into my productivity. I need to get something chosen here. I mean, ideally, I would want like a late 70s something. But 90s could definitely fit in our budget as well as modern. Where was that other one? And I would want it to be pretty yellow. Because in my eyes, the opportunity to win this, yeah. Condition doesn't seem... I keep running into this, finding seconds. I just don't think that's appropriate. Not that it matters, but I don't think it's appropriate for our specific situation. Or maybe that's just in my head and somebody wouldn't care, but... Ooh, G&L commenter says we want a hammer. And what era did he say? Decade 70s. He said late 70s. Let's open it up to 80s as well, just for fun. Whoa. Looks like Dean's not the only one that made beer guitars. That's interesting. See, this is what I was thinking as well. You know, something like 70s, 80s brands that were birthed around this time. Like a Dean, it would be my one chance to do the... What is it, Dean Z? I think people would be excited for that. Maybe not as much as a Les Paul Custom. What have they got there today? Not much, but we'll see. So that's boring. Don't like the finish. That's a little crazy. I kind of like it. That's more than our budget allows for. I mean, that could be a potential one. And just don't see anything that speaks to me. That one would exceed the budget. Okay, Dan Ibanez Iceman 477. Ooh. Okay, I feel you on that one. I don't know if that's market value or not. That's the problem when we go into something like this. I've always wanted to check out an Iceman. It's a good finish, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm jiving with that for 5. Maybe 35. That's purely speculative. I don't know how much these normally go for. Here we go. This photo looks much better, but this one's 33. See, that would still give us, some room to include like a the Paul or something. I wrote it down. I'll consider it. Mr. Slinger says a 1984 Gibson Explorer. You could get him in that range. Ooh. It's been refinished though. Yeah, not worth that. It was the original finish, yeah. The problem with that is they would win it. Oh, yuck. If you're gonna refinish it, don't mess with the serial number. Just box it off. It's gonna look ugly, but at least then everybody knows it's authentic. I mean, we don't necessarily have to go white. I think that would just make people the most excited. You could go night violet. I think I still need to review that one. I've got an extra set of gold strings. You could definitely get like all the designer series that you could imagine. Or reissue 84. That's the one thing I don't like about the reverb bump. It feels like you're just looking at the same thing over and over and over again on these searches. Zach is saying 86 is a good year for Gibson. Yeah, it's the start of the Henry J era. They're doing a whole bunch of weird stuff. They just discontinued the studio customs, but no, studio standards, I believe. Yeah, it's the customs that lasted another 2 years. SGs, most of them are still side output jacks. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a particularly fantastic year, but it's good. You can find some weird stuff like the US ones. I've thought long and hard about one of these studio standards or customs, but I fear the average non-enthusiast to be like, oh, it's a Les Paul Studio. Woohoo. And they wouldn't be as excited for it. I've also thought about like the 80s 335s. Those things are pretty sweet when you can find a heavily figured one. Joel is asking for an SG Junior. If I was going to do that, isn't there a special SJ Junior? Ooh. That's an interesting thought. An SG blend with a SJ200 called the SJ. I'm not sure how you'd really do that, though. Alright, is this the one I'm looking for? Yeah. If I was going to throw that into the realm, it would be this limited edition from 2018 that has the goofy little Gibson logo up there. And the only a Gibson is good enough on the back. However, you could get like some vintage examples as well with that budget. Ooh. That's not a bad price. Somebody should pick that up. Maybe haggle. Well, I guess he's not open to offers, but if you could get free shipping on that, that's a good deal. I'll write that down. "40-year fitness." Oh, man. Man, I'm getting a lot of comments here. I'm like really far back. Trust me, this is live. There's no delay, but well, somebody said they lost 15K in the stock market. And now I'm just seeing one saying Nebula, yes. I mean, we were talking about that, what, 20 minutes ago? All right, so... All right, it looks like I got some super chats. I'm going to go to the super chats, and if you left a comment before a super chat and you want me to talk about it, you'll have to comment it again because... I'm sorry, things got kind of mixed up. It like auto-updated before I was ready for that. So, Muddy H2O, Collings City Limits. Looks like... Okay, there we go. I don't like the look of that one, though. Let's look at this, even though it's technically international and we couldn't choose it. It's like, isn't it Dean who makes like a Les Paul or some other company that's similar to this? But Collings, I think we reviewed one on the show once. It was a nice guitar. Good color. Interesting inlays on that one. I forget which, isn't it the Epiphone Casinos? They have a single version of that, but they doubled it up. Yeah, Yeah, that headstock is familiar. We've reviewed a Collings. I just don't remember which one it was. I don't think I would choose that. But now Nick Huber, he makes some nice looking stuff. I remember we did a Rock or Not episode once. That breaks the budget a little bit. A lot of bit. Super bit. What fits in our 5K? Not much. You could haggle though. Resale on boutique guitars, usually you can get a deal. I like this one because it kind of reminds me of a big bat wing right there. Actually, it's more of an owl. Do you guys see the, like Legend of Zelda owl? It's got its two eyes right there, the beak, and those are his ear type things. He's about to fly away. It's more of a bat wing, but whatever. This would probably get a different audience set excited. Would be my guess, but wow, is that a gloss top satin back sides? And he's got that double stepped inlay. Don't love the headstock on that though. I feel like if it just said Huber, I would like it more. Well, that's just me, an outsider, looking in. Let's see. Taxman. Airline Res O Glass. JB Hutto. 1960s red. Okay. Well, somebody's asking, should he buy it? I don't know if talking about it on stream was your best option there for a help session. I mean, as compared to everything else, it's all right. I'm not really looking up previous sold things. I mean, compared to asking price, yeah, it looks okay. Oh, it's got some damage to it. See, I don't know enough about those to be able to tell you, is that an actual crack in the rosin body? Or headstock, or is that just a veneer? I have not had one of those yet. Cool guitars, though. I think it's Jack White who made those popular. Triple Zero Patrick. Talking about 2016 Les Paul Studios. For that one, you got to make sure it's a studio. Otherwise, you're going to get the satin finishes. That doesn't mean it's bad. Like the tributes, in fact, I actually prefer them. You just need to make sure you're paying the right amount of money. See, like something like this, $600 to $800. That's the right amount of money. Now, unfortunately, it looks like somebody made a not so nice looking project and relic job out of that one, but hey, if you're going to refinish it anyway, it could be an option. Scott says, everybody wants a 74. Yeah. I mean, that's the year that they choose to reissue. I mean, that could be fun. Tying in Fraley. I don't know if... I would have to check on that if they actually want like an artist being directly referenced. I mean, you can certainly get a 74 for a 5,000 budget. It'd be really fun to be able to pick up the tuxedo, but if I could get that at 5, I would probably just consider holding it back myself. That's a problem. I can't get too good of a deal on it, otherwise I'll want it for me. So that's why if you've got something interesting, I mean, even if it's after this is over, feel free to email it to me. If you've got, something that you can list on Reverb for 5,000 or less. What is going on here? Re-necked and $5,000. Woo. Must have been refinished. That looks pretty good, but did we lose our serial number? Well, I'm not going to comment any further because, oh, that's a good photo to have. Re-neck guitars, I have a soft spot for them because the whole re-necked that we documented once. Next up, Custom Shop Jazzmaster. We haven't reviewed Fenders in a while. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be all that excited for a Jazzmaster giveaway. I feel like, sweepstakes. But maybe if it was crazy enough, like a Paisley one. If they had blue Paisley, I would look at it. Ooh. This one breaks our budget, but it's the first one that caught my attention. We've got performer style pickups. I'd probably just be disappointed by that because I love the sound of Jazzmaster pickups. I want a Les Paul Custom with Jazzmasters in it. And that would just be awesome. I tried to get Gibson to do it once, and they're like, no. Why not? You just route it differently. Maybe I could just order one that has no pickups, and then somebody else routes it after the fact. Yeah, Aaron said his dad bought a 90s G&L recently, and he loves it. I had somebody reach out trying to buy a G&L because apparently there's some drama behind that company right now, shutting down, something like that. I have not looked into it at all. But between the time he sent the message and the 40 minutes it took for me to respond, somebody else bought it. I think he was looking for a black Rampage. So if anybody's got a black Rampage that's newer and you're looking to part with it, I might know a guy. Oh, Michael's got a 555 super chat. Thank you so much. Toasted marshmallow. I think I remember that one from the mod collection. Oh. Well, I guess since you super chatted it. I've been watching this one for a long time. Well, you know what? I think I actually did a Rock or Not once, and I featured this. What's cool is they did the back, and it's got that kind of a stinger to it. But man, that's such a niche finish. Because that's the other thing, the evil part of my brain. Get this and then put a note in the review video and be like, hey, if you win this and you absolutely hate it, I'll give you $3,000 for it. And then it's, hey, I bought back the winning guitar type thing. I do like it. I like where you're going with that. However, I just don't think people would get excited for this guitar. I feel like what this really needs is a Les Paul custom mother of pearl there. Don't add any of the binding. Just have the pearl custom emblem there just to be a little... Just add to the weirdness, I guess. Lone Ranger, 1978, Columbus Constellation. Must be something you own. That sounds unique. All right, Michael, I got it. Okay, it looks like I am now to the bottom. So I should be fairly current within 30 seconds or so. And if there's any other super chats I happen to have missed, please let me know. I think I've gotten all of those. So, Nick, the plan, you gotta... I have to be vague. I'm not allowed to announce anything, but if you go back to about the midway point of this episode, you might be able to find some hints. Well, that's good to know, Harold. I mean, I feel like it would be something you learn to love, because it's like, yeah, it's weird. And at the same time, somebody could put this up for 10 grand and maybe eventually it would sell. It's been for sale for a long time, anywhere between, I think at first it was 35, now it's 5,000. But I feel like the person I'm helping with would be like, oh, that's the last time we ever asked this guy to help us choose something. What is this ugly thing? It would certainly generate some comments, that's for sure. What is it? Is it an R7? Gibson Roadshow. 60s neck. Must just be a custom shop standard. Okay. Telly Deluxe 72. He specifically wants walnut. Well, I don't have a 72, but there is a 75. We got the wide-ranged humbuckers. My problem with something like that. I'm writing down the toasted marshmallow, and if it ends up getting chosen, I'll blame you guys for it. So back to here. When it comes to 70s Fenders, sometimes those need some minor adjustments that I may or may not be able to give to them. I'd probably go for the thin line version. But hey, that's got some nice figuring in the neck. Looks like it was used. I don't think that's the right one for this particular purpose. 'Purpose. 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 ' Fender Swinger. Ooh. This would definitely get the quirky vintage lovers to come out and watch some stuff. Well, no. I was thinking about something else that came out recently that would be really cool, but I can't buy that on Reverb. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of Antigua-ish. Like, if you like Antigua, you probably like the Marshmallow. David Burke. Oh, yeah, I really did not see that one. That's because it was fairly recently. Gotcha. I apologize for that. Thank you, David. We've got something from Cower. He loves their Grippin. And a flip-flop green chameleon. All right, let's see what we can do here. Cower chameleon. Ooh. Yeah. I was liking your description, but then seeing it, I'm kind of... Nah, reminds me of origami folded up stuff, which I suppose is cool in its own right, but that's too blocky of a guitar for me, and that's from somebody who loves blocky Telecasters. I do appreciate the headstock, though. I like that design. Looks like they've got the pearloidness for the logo right there. Tuners stick out a little bit too much, but they appear to be locking. Yeah, there's a few things I would change about that. Yeah, that's the right model. I like the P90 look a little bit better, though. Okay, Purple Burst. Maybe that was just the wrong color for the first one to see. That works a little bit better with a burst, and then I would assume that's a raised edge, similar to like a Firebird. And then, okay, I see the slices and dices right there in the pickguard. I don't think I would choose that for the giveaway, but would I review one? Yeah, as long as it's a burst. That single color just doesn't do it for me. How's the back? Okay, they did the headstock as well as the neck. That's a good purple into silver burst color. Seems I'm not the only one a little bit perplexed, but you know what? Now that I see it on somebody, it's basically an Explorer. They've just chopped it up. Okay. I probably would like it if I played it, because I do enjoy Explorers. I see it now. I see it now. Neck through. Now maybe, is there a natural one? Blue, red. Alright, so we got a wing, and then they must do a step down route to create this top ledge. Okay, yeah, I can kind of see it there. Alright, so Firebird with Explorer-like elements. It's very jarring at first, but I suppose it grows on you. Aaron's asking, have I ever done a 339? Yes, Joan Jett ES 339 review. That one was from 2019-ish. Lonnie Mac. Not gonna lie, I have thought about one of these because, I mean, it's not gonna appeal to everybody, but look, it's a flying V with a Bigsby B7 put onto it. It's so unique. With the little, what do you want to call it, retainer bar, brace bar, something like that. I mean, 5,000, that, I've seen them list for more. You could probably get a deal on that. How many things? Fender Maverick. Harold is asking, do I like it? Thankfully, I actually do have a review and documentation if you want to look it up. If memory serves, I think I did the Sunburst version. It's cool as, hey, this is one of those freaky Fender things that they did in the past. But as far as one as I would personally choose to own for the strict joy of playing, nah. I really don't even remember how that one sounded. The only one from like the Paranormal and etc. that really stood out to me was the Telecaster with the Jazzmaster pickups. That one was very cool to me. Charles is talking about a Futura. I don't know if people would be excited for a Futura. I recorded the episode on these today, so we won't talk too much about those. But there are some cool older Futuras, I guess. Did you specify? Yes, you did. 57 Gibson Futura. Well, too bad. You're getting 83 Futura. I've thought about those because, you know, it's a unique can opener shape. See, if somebody had one of the satin metallic Futuras, or like a cool custom color. Another thing that I thought would be fun is like one of these map guitars. Just like this one's really clean, as is that one. It's just if somebody had to sell that, I don't know if they would get $5,000 really quickly. Like this one, I like the most because it actually has different colored mahoganies on there. Because I feel like this is something you would win and you'd just be happy with it. You'd be proud of it. I've got no money in this. It's just a lot of fun. That'd be the best way to have a map guitar. Because trust me, when you spend money on one of these, you just feel like, oh, I could have got a much different guitar. And don't get me wrong, I love the Poster Child. I do. However, the other prototype, I'm not as in love with. Because there's not as much history to it. But right now, I'm the map guitar guy. So it would make sense to have one of these. Yeah, those neat new 339 dark purples. I did put an inquiry into the garage to see if there were any particularly beautiful ones. I might review it because it has been a while. Les Paul Catalina Hayden. That one's international, I believe. That one's more than I would suggest paying. That one's also international. There's none that are eligible right now. It is an option, but that might be too niche for some people. Like, I've got a Catalina in my collection that I could potentially throw in for that. I would sell it for $5. It's just, realistically, these are, $3,000 to $4,500 guitars. And they're not going to be to everyone's taste. That's why ultimately I'll probably go something, a little bit special in the custom territory, but not too over the top. Because you got to be careful, With me, I like the weird toasted marshmallow things, but not everybody else does. Catalina SG. I didn't think that existed. Are you talking like the SGGTs? I think somebody could be pumped for one of those. I have wanted to review one. I'll think about it. I didn't realize there was one of these. I haven't really paid attention to Fender. Because it used to be Fender would work with me, to create those reviews and demos. We had a lot of sponsored Fender reviews. But then they just stopped returning my emails. So, hey, if anybody who works at Fender, I miss reviewing the products. I had fun checking them out. But I feel like their program of how they deal with influencers and people who advertise their products, like they changed the person who ran it, and then there's been multiple changes in there. So it might just be that I've fallen through the cracks, but it could also be that, maybe we don't like this guy talking about our guitars. We want somebody more skilled playing them, which is perfectly fine, but a lot of it actually came down to, I guess, dealers had problems with me getting inventory when they were waiting, which I could also understand. That could be frustrating, but I advertise the product, then you just go and sell it. But I guess I forgot we were talking chocolate sunburst. I mean, personally, is that made in Mexico for $1,800? Wow. I suppose it's because it's got an aging job. Yeah, it's double bound, but it's... I would probably buy a different Telecaster before that. Brian. Fender Custom Shop. 1960 Stratocaster. Super heavy relic. An aged sea foam green. Game over. It's casino guitars. I bet I could get that under 5,000. I don't really like it. It's not my kind of Stratocaster. I do like the pickguard, though. They aged that beautifully, but the rest of the finish, not for me. Headstock is good. The thing about the aged Fenders, it's not for the look, it's for the feel. And you can't judge feel online very well. Got a little bit of flame figuring to the neck. Yeah, I think I'll pass on that, but thanks for suggestion. Yeah, the ES150D, those are fun guitars. I need to get one to review eventually. Yeah, I've forgotten about the Wolfgangs. Scott? Because we did a couple of those for my Australian viewers. We were just doing them all the time. I really like the carved top ones. I mean, they're just as nice as Les Pauls, and they have, some other things that, like a usable tremolo. Not what I'm in the mood to look at for right now. Welcome, Alex. Oh, some of those are really expensive. I mean, something like that could be fun. But that's a lot of electronics that I don't really want to demo. It's fun when guitars have, coil splitting and everything, but from a guitar demonstrator's point of view, it's like, that's going to take longer to do. And we kind of already covered some of this topic in the SG Flying Eagle episode. But something like that, well, yeah, that's beautiful. Something to think about. And Christopher. I actually considered one of these myself. It's like, well, what's that cool guitar that the guys that are the age to surf reverb would like? And these Lucite's always seem to be people's curiosity machines. I'll probably never get the opportunity to document one otherwise. Yeah, same thing with the Travis Beans. Extended thread showing on the nut. I'd probably pass on that. I can't remember. Does the Roswell Rhodes have the aluminum neck? Wow. I should have bought one when they were $5,000. Those could just be people asking crazy prices, hoping to find somebody who really, really wants it. I don't know. I'm not making a comment in general. Ah, man. No, that's a wooden neck. I remember now. It's just the headstock. I don't think I have had an aluminum neck before. But we did document this, 4 or 5 years ago? Those are cool guitars. So one that was flowing around my head. This one's refinished. I thought about this one. So this is an original blue Sparkle Top Deluxe, but it had a MIDI pickup drilled onto the top. And it's had some nasty cracks along the edge of the headstock. However, this guitar in clean shape would fetch like 7 to 8K. I mean, could potentially be a little bit more, but we have not documented the maple neck version. And it's just one of my favorite guitar models, and I think people would still get excited, you know. Sure, it's got the blemishes and the repairs, but that's a dream guitar for a lot of people. Would you guys get excited for something like this? Even though maybe it's not 100% perfect? I mean, as far as the headstock breaks go on these, I mean, it's a really crappy photo that's not in focus at all, but it looks like one of the better cracks to have repaired. And that just looks like a little bit of fretboard separation or right underneath it. But 75, that's not the right price on that. The other way you could go is just a refinished regular deluxe, but yeah, definitely not 23K for one of those. Oh, this was another idea. Get one of the Guitar Center reissue ones from 2018. 42 is not the bad price on one of these in general. I've seen people asking like 65 plus. They've become scarce and they only made a few. I think it could make people happy. That one seems really yellowed over. Brunswick Green Les Paul DC. Are you talking about this? You could probably have success in haggling them down. I'd probably go for a vintage one that has some wear before offering that, though. Oh, they care, Scorpio. They care. That's the only version I haven't done yet, maple neck. I've done the smaller headstock mahogany, the larger headstock mahogany. Now we just need the maple neck version. That's something I'll eventually buy for my collection anyway, so it's not like this is the only opportunity ever. Hondo Les Pauls are not expensive enough. Yeah, unfortunately that wouldn't work then, David. Unless it's like 3,000 shipped and then I can buy it from you personally, but... Alright, I think I will take, 2, maybe 3 more requests. So if you guys got anything, and then I'm gonna call it a night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this slightly different one. I'm not sure how many views we ended up getting on it. I was hoping some people would, chime in. Muddy Water. Flying V Custom Purple. I know which one you're talking about. I was looking at it today. I think you're probably meaning this one, but I was looking at this one. So I would probably choose this over that other one because it's a little bit older. It's more of a one-off. It's just a bit too dark. That's what, 2011? So that could... It's probably still ebony, but it's got a potential to be rich light. I feel like you got to get that one in the light to be able to even appreciate it. That's just slightly out of budget. And then you can also go brand new. This one, you can at least see it's a little bit more purple, but I would be flipping that neck pickup back around. It's got a... And we don't have the flame top. I think I like the other one better. See, I always thought those... There's like a different one that's really cheap. Yeah, I remember it now. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to do that. I guess these are a little... I mean, maybe they play and sound good. Like, that looks nice to me. Ew. I understand they can't do the headstock, but not my favorite looking. Let's see, what are they doing to our special? That looks pretty good. Okay, did they change up their headstock? It's got the... Really? See, it looks like they start the stinger too early, like it needs to come down a bit more. Which photo? Doesn't that just look too short? Like it needs to start there and come down a little bit more. It almost looks off-center in that particular photo. That reminds me of the Reverend headstock. That one's a little bit more palatable, though. Harold, yes, there is an artisan that I've been looking at. I've made offers on it, but the seller came back kind of nasty. He didn't like my offers. And it's a factory second, and it's like... Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. I feel like when I get the guitar, there might be even more issues. And his messages made it seem like it wouldn't be a very good experience. But at the same time, he'd probably say things like that about me too. Yeah. Because when you're asking $5,000, I don't think $4,000 is an offer you should really get ouchy about. It's just an offer. You can always counter. But that is a model I've considered and might still even go for, because it kind of ties in with that whole Christmas thing. Because if you happen to be the person, you should have it by then. I've also thought something like this. I mean, technically it's in Japan. But I just thought that was a gorgeous one. I mean, that is a fantastic quilty top. And it's one of the more modern day F-hold ones. But then it's got the black back. And that one's over in Japan. 2019. That's what's kind of surprising about that. 2019. They don't make many F-hold Les Paul customs in the modern era. That was definitely a custom order for someone. Yeah, David. So I think I first felt him out at 35. He declined. And then I did 4. And then he had sent me a message saying, that's not my game to deal with somebody who doesn't message. And it's like, that's not how I do reverb. I just make an offer. I'm not here to ask a whole bunch of tire kicker questions. If I'm serious in something, I just make an offer. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, counter my offer. You might be surprised what I might be willing to pay. Now, other times, most times, I do make my best offer the first time. So if you counter it, I'll decline. But sometimes, if it's a special guitar, we could make a deal. But right now, for this particular project that we're talking about, I'm shopping around. I'm trying to get the most for the money I've been allotted here because I want to make this a grand, spectacular occasion. I don't want to just go, oh yeah, this is $5,000. Let's bring this in. I'm looking out for, the one person who happens to be lucky on this. Yeah, I've thought about that, Brian. Just, a great Les Paul. I'd probably go Telecaster, but I understand the Stratocaster. But if I could do like a great Les Paul and a PRS Silver Sky, that'd be good. Earlier I was talking like a Les Paul SG and a 335. You just have to go for the more budget models. But still with $5,000, I mean, you can get a decent 335 for 2. And there's good Les Pauls around 1,000. You could technically get rid of the SG. Just do Strat, Tele, Les Paul. Even though I've been given the okay to do multiple guitars, I don't know if I want to do that because then it's a whole bunch of additional shippings and more things that could go wrong. I think just one grand prize would be nice. I think if I was going to go regular ES335, I'd probably go for a early mid-80s natural. Let's see. I mean, that's looking pretty nice. Doesn't look like there's any good ones on the market right now. And a lot of these are just not priced where the market actually is. Which is fine. I mean, put your guitar up for whatever. Fish for a buyer. Maybe you don't actually want to sell it instantaneously. The problem with that, though, is they start to line up, and then somebody who's like, oh, I really want to sell this guitar, they think those are the prices. They don't actually look at the sold listings. But this one's a bit more reasonable. Not very good in the flame department. Like, you can find some choice examples in this era. I would not consider that a choice looking one, but it probably still sounds good. Should still have Tim Shaw PAFs, and it's got some neck wear. That bothers a lot of people. I would not put that in a prize pool. Mr. Boo is saying one prize is better. Yeah, that's not how this game works, Dan. This is the company who's doing this, they want you to do something in return. All right, one more. One more. What I've been doing this whole week is I've just been waiting for things that get listed right away, and I look at them like right here. We got 1980 Les Paul Custom. It's a little bit more than the budget allows, but it's nice. So far, anyways. However, let's just say, do your due diligence. Ask for the photos. Look closely, like we've got some discolorations right here. Chainsaw case, some discolorations on the back. That looks like I would say like one of those Gibson polishing rags. That could be a headstock repair there. Or just a nasty stand. What's the description say? Not much of anything. This is not what those sell for, but that's a unique top. I'm going to put that thing in my watch list. We'll put it in a Rock or Not episode or something. 1990 prehistoric, production number 40. It's got some wear. Realistically, I think it's worth about $5,000 in today's market at max. But that is a unique top. I like it. It reminds me of a volcano. That's cool. I like it. I don't think I've seen one exactly like that. Oh no, Muddy. My Rhino Les Paul would cost way more than $5,000. I'm glad I held on to that one when I did. You don't see those too often. Now sometimes you can get one for that, but usually when they pop up, people are asking like $85. The Widow could be fun. There's that pink one. He's got the price cut down to $55.99. We talked about that in a Rock or Not episode. I think I remember looking at the Widows. That's not bad. It's one of the stealth. I know I'm asking a lot more for mine, and it's in worse condition. I've been waiting for the right one to swap into. Yeah, that's not bad. It's in Japan, so let's just say importing things right now is kind of tricky. Things are changing. But I'd pick that up for $3, no problem. If I thought people were interested in that custom light, totally. You know, even something like my old Purple Widow, I don't know if they would take $5 on it. I just find it funny that they're using my name in the listing. I don't think I add anything to that particular guitar. I only owned it for a couple of months, but I did document it as one of the Widow prototypes. I mean, it's not marked prototype, but it's pre-production from when they did the other colors. So maybe research and development would be more appropriate to call this particular one. Do I show up like that? Let's see. Mash up this way. So, like, I'd be willing to do this. I mean, that's a pretty stellar guitar. But would it make people happy? I don't know. It's kind of smoky. I mean, it's been airing out for like, what, about a month now? I mean, I would do that. This is a consignment, so I can't necessarily. I don't know if people would like the 3/4. This, that would be pushing it. I mean, ideally, I don't want to pull from my own inventory because then the video announcing it and re-reviewing the same thing's not that exciting. But I could just shift the episode a bit. Those are too much. I don't think the Ashba's the right for that. I mean, it's lower than I want to go, but maybe that. But I mean, it's a cool prototype. But I think most people who, if they won this, they just be like instantly put it on reverb. Yeah, Joe, well, I will eventually. I think it's what, ES 135, something like that. It's a fun prototype. You just have to wait for the right price on that other stuff. This would be a solid guitar for this opportunity. I am dumbfounded that it's even still in my shop, to be honest. I thought for sure that one was going to sell as soon as the video aired, but I'm not upset to still have it. The photos really don't show it off the best. Like, this photo, somebody might be like, there's a giant ding on the top. No, that's just a reflection from the ceiling. It's the lights in the vent. I decided to take these photos on the billiards table. That was when I needed to sell some stuff to cover some bills. That was, what, a year or so ago now. I love that one because it's a dark back, but it is a 59 reissue. Check out the review and demo. That is a good one. 2007 59 R9. Ooh. What else do I have on my reverb shop? The /5. I think people would be excited for that. I could get rid of the Mary Ford. I don't know why. Why did the Mary Ford flop? I thought for sure that was going to be a great limited edition. But for whatever reason, they are a tough sell. Like, I'll give you a nice deal on this if you reach out to me. Not as good of a deal as the Hogtop standard that I listed from tonight's episode. That thing is a screaming deal. I don't even know if it's still available. I've been hearing my phone buzz over there. It might already be sold. Curious. Well, looks like you're still good. I think people just don't like the arm guard on it. Everything else is great. We do the Final Fantasy Stratocaster. Lil Wayne's Joan Jett. Okay. Back to that whole PAF thing. I could just do that pair of Tim Shaw PAFs. Like if I have some money left over in a particular guitar. But this is what I was looking for. Somebody said to do my custom light. I could. It just comes down to, oh, I'm reviewing the same guitar again. It's a nice guitar. I picked it up for a reason because usually I'm not into Cherry Sunburst, but this particular one was nice. And it's already been cleaned. It has got the player's wear. At the same time, I'd be sad to not have a custom light because it's come in handy occasionally, but I guess I've got the other modern day ones too. Ideally, I want the, what is it? Metallic sunset metallic. It goes one of those ways. Yeah, I thought about this. I don't know how many people would be excited to win the NASCAR car guitar. Or is it race car guitar? That's how you do it. It's goofy. I like it. I saw somebody else list one of these for like 10 grand. Like that's one of those guitars where it can be worth as much as you say it's worth. It just depends if there's anybody else, asking the same, having the same offering. It could just add more, I guess, awareness of the particular model. You could also do something like the Bison J45. Oh man, there's so many NASCAR guitars, but the NASCAR car guitar? That's the one to have. I'm still waiting for the Jimmy Dean sausage guitar. Yeah, we could do the 84 Scorpions Flying V. That'd be alright. Here's another one. I don't understand. Nobody likes these. I've had this on Reverb since they were brand new. If I remember correctly, I got it either from Sweetwater or Musician's Friend. I was, on the ball with this thing, and usually at that time everything would sell instantaneously, as long as it was discounted like $100 off retail, or sometimes even just 30, because people like the reviews and demo pieces. But if I remember correctly, this one had like some shoddy QC work. And it's like, that's not my fault, but I'm the one that's getting punished for it. So, yeah, I guess I just own this guitar now is how I feel about it. I leave the listing up because, hey, it's already there, but there's definitely way better deals nowadays on these things. Probably should have just sent it back when I had the chance, though. I think. Are they 2800 brand new? The problem is buying it at the dealers, I probably got, a 10-15% discount. And after you take the fees and shipping out, I just don't have the room. I suppose you're right about that, Dan. Not as many people know about Mary Ford, but Gibson has been doing a whole bunch of, merchandising. I think it just comes down to the arm guard. But you can take that off. You just have a couple of screws. Yeah, there's the other things that I don't have listed on Reverb as well. So I guess if you think about it, I could give away the modified hogtop. I could give away the modified Mustaine. So that's what? A little under 4,000. That gives me $1,000 left. I could find like a the Paul or something. Or maybe an SG. I mean, that's an option. I think people would be excited for that, because then I could be like, hey, I've got this and this we've already reviewed, but here's that brand new guitar. That's a thought process. Tak Matsumoto Firebird, solid choice. Hook up that third pickup for the Ebony Supreme. The Jim Beam. This would be a solid one. 82 Explorer. That's a good deal. You could also do like the Les Paul KM or that Prehistoric. The Curly Maple Top. Yeah, just in case you didn't know, you can always buy direct on my website too. Usually most of my modern stuff just gets thrown on there. And if it sits here for a couple of months, I'll then put it on Reverb. Or it's something I'm not really too serious about selling, like this. I don't like to falsely inflate the market. Like, that guitar, I don't think it's worth $20,000 today, but one day, yes, when people realize that Crimson Division and stuff is gone. Jim James, that could be done. Autumn Burst, probably. Someone was saying the Angus Young, that would be a good one as well. Yeah, that's something to think about. Half mine, help me get rid of something, and then half new. Something to think about. Yeah, the problem with that wazoo is that's not how this works. So, did you guys know you can go to Reverb and watch and win a Klon Centaur? Sadly, they don't give you the option of this and 2 other things. Whether or not that's what we're talking about or not, I can't tell you. But all you gotta do is watch a little thing for the opportunity to win that. But that's just completely unrelated. Alright, my friends. I think that's enough fun for today. But thank you for chiming in. I got a few new ideas to think about, but ultimately I don't think this live stream helped me like go, yep, that's what we're doing. So again, if you have anything in your collection that's like a really nice flame top Les Paul, a limited edition model that you can sell on Reverb for $5,000 or less, you can email me about it. I've got a week, maybe a week and a half at most before I need to make a decision on something. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.